What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is the 23rd of January, 2021. How is everybody doing? I hope your weekend is going well. You're resting. You are getting yourself together for this interesting and blessed week that you're about to embark on. So, I wanted to check in. I know I have gotten to a point where I haven't been consistent, you know, living my life, checking the boxes spiritually, as well as taking accountability of the steps, part of my journey. Because we have to do that. That's what duality is all about. Understanding where you are presently, manifesting by projecting your thoughts forward, but also acknowledging the things that were the milestones of your past. So how you been, fam? I hope you're well. I hope you're doing what you need to do. I hope that you are embracing peace because that is the greatest aspect of you. It is the makings of you. So yeah, so yesterday I decided I needed to change some things up. So I went to the barbershop. After heavy contemplating, I said, should I keep growing my hair? Allow my hair to return back to whence it came? Because I know there was some of you that was like, keep going, Gerald, keep going. And as you know, that when it comes to your crown, there is a unspoken discipline that must be committed to. And I thought about it. I thought about it long and hard because before this, as you know, when I arrived on the island, I cut it off. And I know a lot of y'all was like, why would you cut your dreads off? Why? You grew them for 3 years and then you cut them and then you went through your phases of understanding who and why you exist emotionally. And going back prior to that, 3 years before that, my dreads were past my shoulders. But like legendary artist that doesn't get the props that she should because she's bona fide talent. India Arie put out the classic song, I Am Not My Hair. And it's true. Because your hair is nothing but a descriptive aspect of your uniqueness. So, giving it a little more thought process, I says, you know what? Let's do something totally different. So, because my hair is actually curly. It's got, you know how y'all queens, y'all got the hair types, and so it's straight and it curls, and it's just do what it do, but it's healthy. And since I'd been here, the one thing that I had made a point to do was educate myself on how to keep your scalp healthy, the proper steps in keeping it, uh, giving it the nutrients that it needed compared to allowing yourself to heal. And I can show you right here and right here, because my hair, I can throw it to the side, I can roll it back, I can go forward and wave it up, it comes. But I realized, not to be winded, that when I had my dreads, I loved the ability to watch myself grow. I realized that too much of a good thing is not good for you. And what I'm implying to is stress. And as you already know, where the mind goes, where the mind is, your temple, your body will reflect. Just like you see the grays here, right? This is nothing but a representation of what's found inside. From your DNA to your molecular structure of your tissues, your bones, added with the wear and tear of your day to day. And I didn't like that. Wasn't like I was ignoring it. As you already know, a year and a month ago, that's when I had my episode with my heart. And I'm not going to sit up here and tell you guys that I wasn't worried. I was terrified. I was. Because that was when the proverbial spiritual clock was doing this thing. And I was like, you know what? There's things that I want to do, and the Most High is letting me know, hey, look here, that's not important. That's a distraction. You don't need this. You need to let that go. You need to go there. And you need to assess its value to the connection of you. And then I started changing stuff up. So since then, I'm back in the gym. I've changed my eating, and which wasn't really bad, but I made sure that I really emphasized on plant-based. I'm all about my plant-based intake, as well as I eat a lot of omega-3 seafood. I eat a lot of octopus. Oh man, I eat some octopus. But I keep that balance. Keep that balance inside my body, because no person knoweth the time or moment that they'll take their last breath. So, not to sound morbid, I also understand that I still have work that I have to complete in regards to my lineage. Oh yeah, Gerald ain't off that, because it is about truth. But you know one thing that really caught my eye, family? Caught my heart? Hijacked my mind? I had an epiphany one day while I was going to work. Because when you're on the highways here, it's very, very congested. So you got to be strategic when you leave and when you decide to return back home. And as I was driving, I had my music going on. I felt this in my spirit. And what I picked up was, nothing happens by circumstance. There is a reason why you are here. And this is something I always knew, but I also realized it was also letting me know that what you're doing right now is about preparation for whatever's going to be revealed, so you are prepared to deal with what is going to be the fruit of it, good or bad. So I started to think. I was like, well, I've talked about manifestation in my past. I've talked about soul ties. and soulmate connections. I've talked about the importance of understanding self worth and how that substantiates true agape. To unconditionally love yourself, even when you think you're alone. Because, family, you'll come to understand depression, anxiety, even those that have been diagnosed with, what do you call that? Bipolar episodes. They're all emotional triggers. The caveat is when you truly are transparent to identify what is going on or attempted to transpire, how you react. Do you feed that stimulus or do you take a second, acknowledge, strategize what is the appropriate response? And that's where critical thinking comes into play. Yeah, I understand. Sometimes you don't have the luxury to retort or react as you would. And then a lot of times when things like that transpire, you may have that moment where you're reflecting. That's if your ego is not on a platform to begin with. Because trust and believe, there's a lot of people that suffer from allowing their pride to navigate their steps. And they have that conversation of, man, you know what, I should have reacted this way. You know, if I could just go back in that one moment and respond in this manner, even if it meant silence. Because you know one thing I've come to learn about silence? It can be deafening. But one thing for sure about silence is truth. You know, remember the classic movie A Few Good Men and the infamous argument scene in the courtroom with Tom Cruise and uh, legendary actor Jack Nicholson, and then Tom Cruise's character kept saying, "Who gave the code red?" And Jack Nicholson kind of skirted around it to a point that he was starting to bubble up. He was starting to bubble up to a point that he could not deal, and emotionally he boom let the cat out the bag pretty bit. And what did he say? You can't handle the truth. You can't. Hold on. All right. I didn't want to be rude. I had to get it. You know I had to get it. Top of the morning to you. Gotta have my coffee. Um, just a segue. Since the last time I've been on, there's been a lot of changes. Constructively, I'm doing well with my occupation. I'm excited for my contributions. But on the personal side, um, so far, I have invested in this. For some of you who may know, one of my passions has always been music. Actually, in the past, um, I always wanted to go into broadcasting. I always had a high admiration for DJs because I wanted to be like them. Yeah, I'm a true b-boy. I used to break dance, graffiti. That was me. You know, always thinking out the box, being truly abstract. But those were the things needed to navigate my life, just like yours. So I invested. Uh, I got a really, really nice high end DJ setup the other day. I even got a MIDI, and I'm going to do my own arrangements because I have a vast catalog of music that spans almost two and a half, almost I want to say 3 decades. So there's always been classic stuff that I've heard that said, you know what if you mix this with that? But when it comes to your creativity, until you're able to do it, you won't see it. So I took the first step, and so I got it upstairs. I'm going to set it up. I got the other stuff coming, but that's one trifactor. The other trifactor is the visuals. I know that many of you enjoy supporting my videos. I see it. And there's no words that I can say in thanks because, number one, I do this because it's therapeutic. But two, I know it's orchestrated by the Most High. I don't write anything down. It comes from the Spirit and is spoken, which is validation for me because a lot of stuff that people are starting to talk about or have been talking about the last year and a half, your boy was already doing that years ago. This channel came to its existence in 2012 off of a very traumatic relationship breakup. But instead of, you know how they always say, opposites attract. That's not true. We attract what we are. Otherwise, there would be no connection. But to be transparent means to acknowledge what is present, but it also affords you change if you so truly acknowledge all factors. Because let's be honest, we've heard the parable when it comes to truth. There are three sides: yours, theirs, and fact. Well, that's what, when you think about it, that's a big big amount to swallow for some people, because you build your circles around people that should have your best interests at all times. But what we don't realize is, you do realize your reality is a representation or reflection of things that you've manifested back then. Let that sink in. Your present moment right now, you spoke that into existence long ago. You just don't realize it, maybe directly or indirectly, either by positive stimulus or emotional triggers. You breathe life into it. And that's why we have those aha moments. That's when things like, is this deja vu, or how is this you breathed life into that. I used to say all the time, just as The Holy Doctrine said he spoke life into it, and it was. So let's think about it. It starts from a word, a frequency. The body has an electric pulse. That's why your heart and your vital organs continue to operate without support. Now let's tailor this a little bit. You spoke something. But before you could speak it, it was a thought. And when it was a thought, you spoke it. And what you spoke, depending on the stimulus of it, you saw a pattern. And depending on how committed you were to that said pattern, it became a behavior. And the consistency of that energy resulted into an action, positively, negatively. Sounds like duality to me, don't it? But all through that, there still is truth. That's why you hear people say, fake it until you make it. Because they want you to sidestep what the true meaning of you is all about. Why? Because it requires you to be authentic. That's why a diamond is a diamond and glass is a glass. You can cut, shape, tailor it, but you hold it up to that diamond, it doesn't matter the size. Its radiance will let you know. It's the same when it comes to yourself, your identity. And we ain't got to talk about folks that have yet to see the radiance of themselves. That's why it's so easy to be covert and say, well, you know what? I'm going to mimic this. Thinking by mimicking it, it will result in the same outcome temporarily, but a lot of times it does not, because it's not authentic. But it's still that action that before it was seen, it was a behavior. And that behavior could not come into existence unless there was a pattern. But before that pattern could be understood, it was a thought. Because it came from here, validated by here. And that's why you see a lot of times today, unfortunately, there's a lot of people walking around that don't know who they are. They're caught up in frustration because they understand what they want, but they don't want to acknowledge what they need. Maybe because it's fear. Maybe it's pride. Because you do understand pride and proud are two different things. Pride is supported by ego. Proud is defined by love. Who am I talking to? That's why I don't have any hesitation to tell you, you're loved. You might not realize that, but you are. But to truly understand the power of that, LOVE, you got to love you. You got to acknowledge what don't feel so right. And ask yourself, well, why, when I feel this way or I see this action, I react in such a manner? Which means you have to be truthful to you. Now, there's a penalty to that. That penalty is like minded behavior. What do you mean by that, Gerald? It's quite simple. See, when someone loves you, truly loves you, they show it even if they're not physically in your midst. You know how this generation wants to use the term, you want to win, you want to win, we want you to win. Now, how can you win if there's no truth there? That's just like trying to put up a wall made of splintered drywall. Yeah, you can probably get it up to a certain degree, but the first moment it gets tested for its support, it's going to crumble. So, does it surprise you today? You have so many people that want to they have the courage to talk about mental health. It does not matter the accolades that you possess, because that is education. You need education to talk about what you talk about. But if that foundation is not of good intent, what is the point of even speaking on it? If you don't place God first in everything you do, how can you have peace of mind? And if you don't have peace of mind, how can you make sound decisions? Even if it's difficult. See, the people that know me, the people that I've made a point to, see, let me catch myself. I look forward to communications from you guys. I've always echoed that because that's who I am. And I try to be punctual on that too. But the one thing that I've come to learn through these last decade or so, especially these last 5 years of my life, is everybody is entitled to their opinion, their perspective, and you don't have to agree. But if the bottom line is for you, the end goal for you is to have the best life ever, then we can agree. We can agree on that. But you have some people, they haven't gotten there yet. But it is not your place to judge, because Most High said, judge and be judged. We don't talk about that, but hello. You can't just speed past that. You can't just fast forward that part. It ain't about always the good times. Sometimes the bad times are really the best times, because guess what? It affords you the opportunity to change. I remember I used to say this in my videos all the time, because I had an epiphany one time long ago, and I would always say, I remember when I was healing from my past relationship, and the one question that would echo in my spirit was, can a man be made new? And that was the question I searched for the answer to for a long time. And I would see little synchronicities, I would see it, but I was waiting for the the right reaction, the right response, so it would feel right to my soul. And I remember I searched high and low. I was I even stepped to the realm of the occult, tarot cards and um, those those soothsayers and stuff that were online because I was so broken. I just wanted to be happy. I wanted to love who I loved at that time. And don't get me wrong, I always have admiration for them. But the reality is, our roads were made difficult because God had something else for me to do. And He had to physically move me by force because I obviously wouldn't have. But the blessing out of that is yes, can a man be made new? Yes. It happens when you go within and you do the work. And as you already know, family, it doesn't matter what someone else's perception, because that's what it is. It's a observation from their viewpoint because you can't see you. That's why a lot of times it can come off unsettling when you hear somebody say something and you're like, wow, I didn't know you felt that way. But keep in mind, family, the devil's work is never done. And yes, the devil is real. The devil is real. Because he feeds off your insecurities. He empowers your destructive tendencies. Who am I talking to? You know, that decision you made that you knew that you were scratching your head on, like, I know this ain't what I want, but it's the means to an end. No, he was hoping that you would take the bait. That's why I would always say to you queens, stop looking for Mr. Right. Prepare yourself for Mr. Forever. But we live in a world where everything's microwavable. We live in a world where it's instantaneous gratification. But anybody can put something in a microwave and it still be cold, even though it smells like it's hot. Here's my point. Some of y'all, in the back of your mind, are trying to weigh the pros and cons in regards to what's going on socially. Stay vigilant on that. But keep your focus on you. Because you cannot make someone do what they don't want to do. And if you're patient enough, they will show you exactly who they are. Either by physically representing, or like a lot of people, not doing a damn thing. That's your answer. You know, and I'm going to bring this to a close real quick. But I wish I had enough wherewithal to give credit where credit's due, because I mentioned this before. I remember seeing a video on, I don't know if it was Instagram, and the background, this woman drives up in her car, rolls the window down, and she says to the camera, for those who want closure, why are you seeking closure when they showed you your worth? And it took me a long time to understand it through my journeys. I was like, wow, you know what? I want to be I want to afford them the opportunity to say what they needed to say, and then no drama. It doesn't have to be messy. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and the months passed, and you know, years passed. Didn't push, prod, but they knew that if you thought my name, saw my face, I crossed your mind. Truth has to come. And if it doesn't come, then that is the truth. And that all I did was validate actions and behaviors taken. That's why I will stand on this till my last breath. Forgiveness is not for those who transgress. It's for you. That is why the scripture says, forgive those who have trespassed as you expect those to, as well as those you have transgressed against. What I'm trying to get at, family, is don't let another hour be robbed of your smile, be robbed of your mentality. Don't. You see all these people walking around looking half dead? Why are 20-year-olds walking around looking like they're 40? Yes, we can turn around and say, well, you know what? You don't understand, Joe. They had a bad life. They went through this. But guess what? Let's not overlook the fact that you have to be present in your life. Now, I'm not saying if the standpoint is from when you were a child and that environment. No, you had no control of that. You actually unconditionally loved and trusted the person who is responsible for your rearing. But in time, as you mature, those questions will come back. But be prepared that you may not never get the answer that you seek. And it's not that they're being mean. It's not because they're being spiteful. Maybe you are at the level that they were or currently are, and they have yet to master that themselves. Who am I talking to? You got to accept that. Lastly, the people that are going to be in your life will be in your life. The people that are not, don't worry. They will find their way. They'll find their way out of it. Acknowledge that. Take the jewels of time and knowledge of the experience and use that as a means to better yourself. Trust me, if you did right unconditionally, I'm not talking about, well, look at me. I did this for you. I did that. No. See, when you do things without expecting a reward, that's integrity. Because that's genuine. That means you have character. And if it is the opposite, well, you hope they get there. But be mindful when I tell you this. You're going to see them again. You will see them. If not physically, you're going to hear from them. Because until they're able to master that, you're going to be living, that's what they call free real estate, mental real estate. You ain't going to go away. But do not take that as a means to gloat, disrespect, chastise. So why not? They did me wrong, Drew. Why not? Because guess what? You might not realize it, but that bond, that relationship, whatever the dynamic is, they were a representation of your mental state at that time. So if you don't like what you see, Go within yourself. Keep in mind what I keep telling you. Opposites don't attract. Like minded. We attract what we are. And it only changes until you acknowledge it. Otherwise, it keeps playing out. The faces change. The scenario gets more intense until you are willing to acknowledge your role. Because, see, nobody can hurt you unless you're there. So you were there. You were sitting front row. And unfortunately, there are those people that do know that and pray that you don't. So lastly, family, I'm going to bring this home because I've talked too much. So, like I said, I got the music aspect. Like I said, I want to get back to doing my mixes and stuff like that. The visual. I'm getting ready to invest in my photography aspect of it. So when I do my videos, not only are you going to have that, I'm going to be able to have the synergy with it'll have music underneath it. And then 3, also the editing aspects of it, because I'm going to invest in that too. I know somebody asked me about, well, what about podcasts? Well, I'm blogging, but I have not excluded. I haven't. I haven't. There are millions of people out there that do podcasts, but I look for whatever God wants for me to do. I'm going to do it, and if that's what you would like, I'll do that too. So I got some stuff I'm working on, and in regards to here in Hawaii, um, since I've been here, I've been making a point to truly explore the island. There's a lot of stuff I want you guys to see, a lot of stuff that I'm going to uh, chronicleize. You know, like I said, y'all in the passenger seat. Y'all do want to see it, right? Thumbs up if you want to see this stuff. And I love each and every one of you. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm doing what I need to do to be responsible. And then I know that when it's all said and done, the people that I'm supposed to have connections with, friends, family, will be in unison when it's the Most High's time. And they know that. They know that. Yes, the love is unconditional. And I hope that you'll be standing by my side when it's time. You know, that's one thing I also realized too, fam. You can leave the emotional door open for those that you appreciate. But if it's not amicable, or if they have yet to get to a place of feeling secure, you can't make nobody walk through the threshold. But you can offer and convey that that door is open if and when. Because by doing so, guess what? The time clock is not on you. The time clock is on them because they're depriving themselves of time. And I say this, I know I said I was going to wrap, I'm going to. I can't tell you how many times that I've attended funerals. And one of the things that innately I've always been as a small child, I've always been an observer of behavior. And there's always somebody. There's like, I wish I had just 5 more minutes. I wish I had picked that phone up. I wish I had allowed myself time. Because we'll never master time. Your life is meant to respect it. That's why the Most High giveth, the Most High taketh. And that's what legacy is about. I love each and every one of you. Look forward to hearing from you. drop me a comment in the inbox. Thumbs up. If there's somebody that you know that you feel that they can relate or need to see this video, by all means, share it. Put it on your platform. Love to hear from you. I got big things about um, this experience thus far in my journey, and I want you guys to be there, but I can't make you. But I always will keep the faith. So you guys have a blessed week. Please, please, family, place your spirit first, your health second, meaning you need both of them. Take care of yourself. Make sure you drink ample water. Keep your immune system boosted. I've been yelling this for almost 6 years, which is unfortunately now I'm still surprised where they don't promote that, you know. But more importantly, you continue to love you. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. The best is yet to come, family. I hope you're there when it is. Be blessed.